Yeah, my soul is salivant. I never fucked over any man on this planet. And I'm down to earth, but my mother nature birthed the curse. As I rehearse a verse to reverse this curse that made me officially hers. My mind tends to bend words towards the chords I walk to the hearse. Food don't sound good when you're dying of thirst. From walking this path, daydreaming about how we about to make it. B.I.G. just rocking this M.I.C. and seeing Angel B and Tommy G rocking stages right next to me, like shining, perfect timing, because we've been aiming for gold like we mining.
I became my biggest rival. I became my biggest idol. I became my biggest rival. I became my biggest idol. Internal battle, pride. I became my biggest rival. I became my biggest idol. I became my biggest rival. I became my biggest idol.
Internal battle, pride. Life's a game and I quit when I realize no matter how far I go, I'm always gonna want more shit. I guess the Bible was right to mention peace comes from within. Lord, forgive me for my sins, I've been lost since. Each prayer got layers, even the short ones. Hope you know where I come from. For those of you on the run, the pursuit of happiness will never get caught. It comes from your heart. Wish I knew this from the start, cause when ambition fell apart, my soul lost control. I became my biggest rival, my biggest idol. Internal battles of pride and suicidal. I try to find peace in the bottle. I try to find peace in the weed. I couldn't see how my actions were affecting me mentally. And still no peace. We can act like Princess Peach, but reality is not that thing. Let me pray for me. Each prayer got layers.
I became my biggest rival. I became my biggest idol. I became my biggest rival. I became my biggest idol. Internal battle, pride. I became my biggest rival. I became my biggest idol. I became my biggest rival. I became my biggest idol.
And it seems like shooting myself, but no cheddar ball from that 8 mile. Just me, my lyrics, walking that green mile. And even my highness in denial of success from the words I express, pressed and I address. It may seem like in between our family scenes seem to be so serene from the seams of our family genes, cruising the streets with the car mean to lean like a top of tank with codeine or promethazine. It's just that outro verse from that intro vert. We on the rise, homie, all eyes on us three. The odd F-A-C-A-D-E. The odd F-A-C-A-D-E.
I became my biggest rival. I became my biggest idol. I became my biggest rival. I became my biggest idol. Internal battle, pride. I became my biggest rival. I became my biggest idol. I became my biggest rival. I became my biggest idol. I became my biggest rival. I became my biggest idol. I became my biggest rival. I became my biggest idol. Internal battle, pride. I became my biggest rival. I became my biggest idol. I became my biggest rival. I became my biggest idol.